born in March 1982 in San Diego, California. Lawler began his martial arts journey when he was around 8 years old by training in Taekwondo and Karate.
April 7th, 2001, a 19-year-old kid steps into the cage for the first time and wins by TKO in the first round. That man will forever be known as one of the greatest mixed martial artists of all time, a fan favorite. The man, the myth, the legend, first ballot Hall of Famer, Robbie Lawler.
When I first learned of MMA, UFC, I was 16 and I was like, hold on a second, what do you guys do? I've been training this my whole life. I'm like, this is what you do? I'm like, when I was a sophomore in high school, I was like, this is what I'm gonna do. This is what I've been trained. This is my mindset. This is the kind of movies I watch. Like, and I was like, that's what I'm doing.
All of his huge fights that he's been in, his championship reign, his huge wars that he was in. He just got inducted into the Hall of Fame for his fight with Rory MacDonald, which was the most ridiculous fight that I've ever seen in my entire life. The fight where he cut his lip, seemed like a 3-inch cut on his upper lip, and he was still just slanging and banging.
Nearly 2.5 decades, he unleashed ruthless violence on his opponents. Lawler's first spell in the UFC would only last a couple of years, however. In his promotional debut at UFC 37, Lawler faced a 22-fight veteran in Aaron Riley and produced an instant classic. After 3 rounds of war, Lawler was declared the winner by unanimous decision. Lawler's third UFC outing was the most impressive of his first stint with the UFC, but also the beginning of his struggles. When Lawler faced Tiki Gosen at UFC 40, he was emotionally invested in the fight since his opponent had talked a lot of trash heading into it. Robbie wanted to teach Tiki a lesson, so seconds into the fight, he swung for the fences, but missed. A minute and 20 seconds into the fight, Gosen came forward with a vicious flurry of strikes, but Lawler slept him with a counter right hand, followed by ground and pound.
And a knee that connects on. Oh, big right hand, big right hand!
Immediately after parting ways with the UFC, Lawler secured an opportunity to fight for the Super Bowl middleweight title against a tough-as-nails Nico Vitali, with the finish coming seconds before the end of the second round when Lawler blasted the hometown hero with a huge knee, followed by ground and pound.
Knee and a good right, another right, a left, and Nico goes down.
The two would fight for the second time for the Icon Sport middleweight title, which Lawler won by a brutal knockout in the first round. Once again, Lawler's pressure, power, and ruthlessness were too much to handle for his opponent. Unfortunately, Lawler lost his title in the first defense against Jason Mayhem Miller. Having secured 3 belts in 3 different promotions, Lawler signed with Strikeforce to secure a 4th one, but unfortunately, he couldn't garner much success in the promotion, where he fought 8 times with 3 victories and 5 losses against Jake Shields, Renato Sobral, Ronaldo Souza, Tim Kennedy, and Lawrence Larkin. That doesn't mean Lawler didn't have any notable moments in Strikeforce, since each of his 3 wins in the promotion were jaw-dropping. Lawler's first win in Strikeforce came against Melvin Manoff, coming off a sour submission loss at the hands of Jake Shields in his promotional debut. Lawler needed something special in his second bout. Manoff, being a striking specialist, let his intentions known early, battering Lawler with thudding body and leg kicks and swinging his arms whenever the two got close. For 3.5 minutes, Manhoff beat Lawler up, but just as he appeared to be on the brink of a dominant finish, the unexpected happened. Manhoff landed a thudding left kick and hesitated while Lawler landed a piston of a right hand that landed right on the money. The Dutchman crashed onto the canvas, and Lawler followed him with another big shot until the referee stopped the fight.
Again, Manhoff continues overhead.
Despite an unsuccessful career in Strikeforce by his standards, MMA gods gave Lawler an opportunity of a lifetime when the UFC absorbed Strikeforce and signed most, if not all, of its roster. Lawler was one of the fighters the UFC signed, and in his second UFC stint, he moved down to welterweight, a genius move in hindsight. Lawler started his second UFC stint the same way he started his first, by securing 3 consecutive victories against Josh Koscheck, Bobby Volker, and Rory MacDonald.
I come to fight, no matter what happens, I keep coming, and I'm trying to knock people out.
To fight Johny Hendricks for the vacant title following Georges St. Pierre's retirement. Unfortunately, Lawler lost by a unanimous decision, but instead of giving up, he worked harder and produced the most successful run of his MMA career.
Man, he did it. Robbie Lawler just pulled off the fastest knockout of his entire career for his retirement fight. The last fight of his legendary long career, and he did it the same way he started. Banged it out, traded shots, a ruthless finish, and put out the dangerous Nico Price, ending the legendary career of the former welterweight champion. This is a fairy tale ending. This is not an ending you see most legends get.
Robbie Lawler is built different than most people.
I've been doing this for a long time, fighting pretty much my whole life. I just love competing and I love what I do.
I've had a lot of people help me get to where I am today. Without them, none of this is possible, and I'm blessed. I'm grateful.